Hi and welcome to Codeforce Chronicles. In case you're able to listen to my conference, that is my communication through this channel, please comment as yes. In case you're able to listen to my conference, please comment as yes. In case you will In case you're able to listen to my conference as a medium and formulated evidence that you're part of the session and you have to put yourself as a subscriber or as a medium for the first time as a reference and proof that you are part of my session. Quote yourself as yes or no in the chat window. And as a medium, I want you to understand that today's session is based on the conference that I'm providing. And I want to introduce myself as a medium through which our conference will be in place with the terminology. My name is Shruthi MN and I'm a YouTuber from past 6 months as a conference in the methodology and the conference in the frame that I work as a Salesforce coach and as a YouTuber with reference to the terminology which everybody uses, that is the Salesforce Ohana or the community as a trailblazer. Good evening, everybody. I'm grateful and excited to finally be live with all of you for the very first time. Before we dive into today's session, a very special moment. My mother's birthday is in place as a medium of conference that today I am in place with my life, and her birthday is on November 10th. And honestly, every bit of love, strength, and success I've experienced in this journey began with her belief in me. So this session is dedicated to her. And I owe this to all my viewers. And in case my audio is in place with your circumference, then I understand that the prodigy which we all place ourselves as a medium, and I understand that this was a session where I had to coach myself a day prior so that you are in place with your confidence and your uh, thought that we are part of the session because of an uh, formulated evidence. And in case you understand that the evidence that we place ourselves with is the terminology which everybody uses, Salesforce Ohana, and I call it as Salesforce Hubs. So, this session is dedicated to my mother, along with the followers who helped me to understand that my life is in place with you, and the podcast series which I had placed myself with is in place with all the terminologies that they use. That I'm in place with the curriculum, and let us celebrate the victory of our Salesforce Dreamforce as a context, and I believe in this terminology. And the session is dedicated to the CEO of Salesforce, that is Marc Benioff, where I can place himself as a medium through which I can quote himself as a terminology and not as a prodigy. Now, when it comes to our life and a circumstantial evidence, where I see that the CEO of Salesforce is in place with all the uh, circumference. Now, when it comes to Dreamforce, I heard and I believe I was part of a session and I thought that the circumference where the Dreamforce was placed in was conducted as a convoluted evidence where Salesforce is in place with agent force only because of one theory which we all write, that is the Sales Cloud and Service Cloud, which is in place with the entire monotony, that is a prompt builder. And when we create prompts, it is easily available because of the developers who are in place with the context that Salesforce, Agentforce, and Omnichannel with the terminology that we use, and it is a theory which we all write. That is MuleSoft in place with the streamline integration. Now, coming to today's session, for those who are joining for the first time, my life is in place with you, where I am a founder of Codeforce Chronicles, and I'm introducing myself again so that you understand that my name is Shruthi MN, a Salesforce coach, YouTuber, and founder of Codeforce Chronicles, where I run a coaching center as well. When it comes to my experience, I have overall of 5 years of experience when it comes to the sales and service cloud as a topology. I've worked as a Salesforce mentor, coach, and guide for about 2.5 years of experience. When it comes to the overall experience as and coaching, it is 5.5 years in total with the uh, conduct in Salesforce. Now, when it comes to the recent terminologies, where I was working in a company and I started to work as a freelancer with the quotation that I'm quoting as 6 months, and when I place my entire experience in Salesforce, it is 2.6 to 2.7 as a Salesforce consultant in place with my life. Now, prior to that, I worked as an assistant project manager where my life was in place with all the references. And I quote this as an example where I had to place my life as a manager only with the terminologies that we use as a conference. Now, when it comes to our prodigy, that is a life which we quote in context with the lines that we are in place with, I want all of you to make a note of the tenure which I'm quoting. That is, from past 6 months, I'm in place with my life as a YouTuber. Now, the feedback which I've received over the past few days, especially after day two of my session, that is developer series, and it has been an incredible journey where people like Rahul Verma shared that shared an experience that finally made me understand that they've understood the logic and they are happy with my coaching. True leadership isn't about authority, it's about enabling others to discover their own path. And now, I want everybody to place their statements as a proof and evidence that you have earned your prodigy as a Salesforce trailblazer and in the community that we belong. Now, coming to the live session of today, the latest, I will be conducting this session with faith that the latest updates and the uh, prodigy, that is developer or admin basics of the context that I quoted as a formulated evidence is in place with the latest updates. Second, the career roadmap map that we finally are in place with, where you can focus on your next learning prodigy. Third, your questions should be posted so that I can enhance your terminologies as a prodigy and not as a circumference. Now, when it comes to the reality and what we face as a uh, evidence, where my fourth phase of this session will be with an exclusive Diwali offer, and the details For this will be updated to you according to the prodigy that you place yourself with. Now, if it is in place with your life, you can drop a thumbs up in the chat window. Now, let us reveal our life to the world. We are Salesforce developers and admins who are in place with our theories. Now, coming to the latest Salesforce updates, Salesforce recently rolled out new flow builder features, including the conditional visibility for subflows. When it comes to subflows, we understand that the terminology that we use are in place with all the circumference, and we place it as an automation theory where we understand that the visibility is in place with the terminology that is our Salesforce Omnichannel and Omni Studio as a preference, where I was part of a conference with a person where he made it clear to me that he was part of an interview where we quote it as a reference to all of you that he had to face the interviewer was part of a reputed company that is Capgemini, where they asked a question. If Omni Studio is in place with Salesforce, and the conference that they wanted him to quote is the feature which is available in Omni Studio as a conference with the terminology that we use, what are the cards that are placed in the framework as flex cards. Now, when it comes to the reality, flex cards are in place with the topology, that is a framework that we use. Flex cards are Omni Studio's best feature as a preference to Sales Cloud and the feature that we quote as a territory management terminology. Now, if this was in place, he would have won his thought of winning the career that he wanted. Now, coming to the next feature which we all like, that is Einstein Copilot. Now, it is the best feature and AI driven CRM, which we call it as a prodigy with the terminology that we use. And when you start enrolling for the sessions that I conduct, you will understand the topology. Now, when it comes to my course, it is self-paced course which is for rupees to 12,500, and I want you to place your circumference as admin developer and advanced developer with a terminology that we use as my students. But when it comes to the reality, we are in place with our 2 year uh, support which I will provide as an offer to you for a month. Now, when it comes to reality, technology evolves, but the best investment you can make is evolving yourself. Now, when it comes to the reality, self paced course which I was speaking about is in place with your assignments, with the curriculum, and you can be part of my life as my student. And I'm available between 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. as your preference. Now, when it comes to your thought that our life is in place with all the terminologies that we use. Now, I have a question. Which new Salesforce feature are you most excited about? Drop in the chat. Let's see who's exploring the best feature as a research. And I owe this to you as a conference that I'm part of your life. Second, as a mentor. Third, as a topology that we conduct our preferences into. Now, when it comes to reality, and I place myself as a coach, as a guide, and as a mentor. That you are in place with your life, your career, and your circumference because of a career path that you have chosen. Now, moving on to the next part, which is interesting, that is the latest Salesforce update, where developers started to experiment on Apex recipes, LWC, that is Lightning Web Components, and AI Cloud APIs, which are integrated as a two-way formulae. Now, when it comes to LWC and the formulated evidence that we conduct as a review, and if you're a fresher, then you should understand that Apex triggers is in place with the terminology after update, and after we conclude it as a component, we place LWC as a two-way integration. Now, when you're working on a project, you should understand when the triggers are in place with the component, for example, opportunity, and there's another conference where we have to create an LWC component, we have to place two-way integration as a medium, where the recipe that we are using is a flashcard where we can place the table into. Now, when it comes to the entire table that we place ourselves into after the after updates which we perform in triggers, and the LWC component will be in place when the event and handlers as a are quoted as a prefix to the decorator, as we all understand, that is the API formulae or the API decorator. Now, when we conclude this entire context, we understand that the API decorator is in place because of the parent and child component, and the conference is in place with the terminology that the portion of the segmentation is part of the conference. Now, I've explained the entire update. Now, when it comes to reality, Salesforce is in place with Slack and a new project where we understand that Slack is in place as a community and not as a conference. Now, when it comes to the community and the licenses that we provide, it is easy to understand that the community license is in place with Slack only if we quote it as an example. When it comes to your career and learning path, start with admin basics to master automation and data models, where we quote ourselves as an example to the terminologies that we use, that we are in place with our life only because of all the circumferences that we use. Now, when we understand the development part of the conference, that is, after we finish the admin basics like the entire series of admin, where you can start preparing for your certification after you complete the project or the trail mix, you have to quote yourself as Apex developer or the entire prodigy in place as a preference to my YouTuber, that is Shrey Sharma, who's part of Salesforce Hulk, and Deepika Khanna, where she is in place with all the terminologies. Now, apart from this, we have the advanced architect level problem solving trail mixes where you can be part of. Now, coming to the self-paced courses, where we understand that you can be part of admin developer and advanced developer course, which is for 12,500 as a package. Now, the coupon code for this entire package is DW2025CF. I repeat, DW2025CF. Now, you can contact me with this referral as a prodigy, where I've posted it on chat. You have to contact me with a solution to the preferences that I've quoted as videos, and in case you have sent an email with a solution to all the videos which I've provided, and I will quote you as a person who is a winner of the trophy in my videos, then you can be, or the post which I'm conducting as a reference, then you will be part of my journey. Now, if you want to buy the individual courses, it is available for rupees 5,000. And my last course, that is the advanced admin course, where I've placed it as 5,000. And in case I find you as a medium where I can quote you as an example and a prodigy, and I understand that the 10-day boot camp is more than enough for you to understand the concept, then you can place yourself as a advanced or the skilled formulated evidence. Now, the three courses are available for rupees 5,000 with a tenure of 1 year, and in case it goes beyond, I can provide a support as an extended formula only if your career is in place with the right formulated evidence. And I quote this as an example that you are in place with your life only because of your prodigy. Now, the 1 year period which I'm quoting as an example is only because you have won my trust as a preference to the answers that I have to provide, and I provide it again as a placement and a prodigy that I wouldn't guarantee placements. So the 1 year period which you are working towards should be in place with your interviews, and after that, my terminology with you is just a mentor and a guide. You can be part of my LinkedIn community and watch my posts as an evidence. And in case you want to provide a feedback, you can refer to my YouTube channel and the posts. Now, when it comes to your uh, reality, I have three questions in hand, and I want you to post it in the chat window. And as a preference to my first terminology, that is, it is a live session, Where are you joining from today? That's my first question, and I wanted to answer as a formulated evidence. And I'll type this as a context where you can join the session only if you wish, as a medium and not as a conference. The reason I'm asking these questions uh, is because of a reason that you are part of this journey of mine, that you're joining from a perspective. And if you're joining from a country which I'm not aware of as a prodigy or statistics, then I can provide my statements according to your confidence. Okay, I'm typing the question in the chat window. And when you try to understand this terminology, when you speak to me, you should be clear that you are joining from either Mumbai, Delhi, or other part of our country. Or if you're joining from another country, you should be clear with your terminology. And the next question is, what is the biggest challenge that you biggest challenge you faced while learning Salesforce? So this is another way of understanding my sessions as a preliminary measure where you can quote yourself as a proof. Now the third and the most important phase of your life will be in place with my question. And this is what I hear from most of the trailblazers, that if you could ask CEO of India one question, what would it be? The reason I'm quoting this as a conference and as a medium, so that we understand that Arundhati Bhattacharya is in place with the conference and as a medium through which we can read our statements aloud. And in case you're in place with all your circumference, I want it to be quoted in any social media platform where you find this as a prodigy, and we can quote ourselves as Salesforce trailblazers only if our community is in place. Now, create a post based on this, and you can tag my channel as a medium where you have attended the sessions, the live sessions, or the sessions which I conduct on my YouTube channel. And after that, you should be clear with your conference and as a medium when you speak to me that you're placed as a uh, medium where we can quote our progress. Now, before we wrap up, I want to thank you for being part of my life, and the messages, feedback, and the love that I've received is overwhelming. And thank you for being part of my life as a Salesforce hub and not as a prodigy, which I quoted as a mediocre in the industry, where you have proven yourself as either an admin, developer, or a tech lead. Now, when it comes to the leadership quality that I found in few of my students, I want you to be quoted as a student of an example where you are part of my journey. Now, every learner's success story is a reminder to me as a coach, and education can change lives. Now, you have to educate yourself by subscribing to my channel and following my posts on all the social media platforms, especially LinkedIn. And I want to reach a point where we earn 500 subscribers along with the quotation that we quote, that the world doesn't need more coders. That means it needs a person who can code it according to the thought. It needs more creators with compassion and clarity. Now, in case you have found the session valuable or the sessions which I conduct in place and the live sessions which I used to conduct, and I'm in place with the conference that I'm choosing a medium where I can coach my students with the self-paced course along with the prodigy, then I'm thankful to my mother who made it clear to me that you are in place with your life and you have to believe in yourself. So, I want to dedicate this session, and this is my first live session where I'm quoting my mother as an example, and I want you to pray for her as a medium and reference to my context that she is in place with her life because of your comments and the reciprocation that we receive. Stay curious, stay kind, stay connected, and always code with purpose, lead with confidence. Confidence. Now, in case you find this session valuable, and I know that I'm part of your life because of all the circumference that we use, I want you to join my course, make the best use of the entity that I provide. And in case you want me to conduct live sessions, we can formulate a batch where we can start our coding as a medium. Only when I receive the feedback as a batch, I can start my new journey with my students. Now, when it comes to the reference which I've provided, in case you have any questions, you can uh, contact me on my number, that is 80500330007. And I'm ending the session with a note that you have all the details which you want as a medium and reference in my YouTube bio. And in case you want to feel my skill as a preference to your context, you can text. You can send a text to my WhatsApp number, which is the same number, or you can personally provide a preference on my social media platforms. Thank you. Have a great day.